What is going on, everybody? PHX here. Thank you for stopping by, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the Season 10 PTS Phase 1 that is going to be coming this Friday, August 19th for PC players. Now, as we all knew that the PC or the consoles don't get PTS because of other stuff that's just kind of out of the, out of the hands of the developers, mostly revolving around Sony and Microsoft, trying to get that situated. But this is going to be awesome because this is going to bring some new stuff. And I skimmed through the patch notes already, but now I'm just going to go through them. We're going to go through them together and just kind of see what this PTS is going to be bringing. Now, keep in mind that everything is subject to change. This is only Phase 1 of the PTS. Usually there are about 3 phases of PTS. So other than that, let's go ahead and just jump right into the patch notes. Alrighty there, so it says, welcome to Phase 1 of the Season 10 PTS patch notes. Please note that the new features mentioned below are still being worked on and are therefore not in their final stages. Final 3D models of some of the new gear and weaponry items are still pending. Placeholder assets are used instead. The preload is going to be available on Thursday, August 18th, 1800 CEST, and then it goes live Friday, 19th of August. Exact timings are to follow. Patch size without PTS build on Connect is about 85 gigs, but the size of PTS build that's already on Connect is about 6 gigs. So just keep in mind, if you don't have the game already installed, it's gonna be pretty big. So that's why we are going to be having at least a day in advance to actually download the PTS. All right, so to move down forward, we're going into Countdown. New difficulties: normal can be completed solo. Hard, designed for groups of 8 casual players. You probably can do it solo as well. Challenging, current difficulty available at release, designed for a group of 8 match-made players, can be completed by a team of 2 to 4 hardcore players, and then heroic, best for 4 to 8 hardcore players. Overall, depending on what the difficulties are going to be regarding the Countdown game mode, it's going to be interesting to see if it's going to be enemy scaling, or if it's going to be something else that's going to be kind of involved with the amount of players that there are going to be. So I'll definitely be bringing that to the channel, going through the different difficulties. I could already tell you, normal and hard, I feel like you'll be able to complete solo without a problem. Challenging, you can do challenging solo. It just you do get overwhelmed at times with the amount of enemies that are there. So, and then heroic should be very interesting to see how well heroic is, if it's going to be based on like a raid setting. I don't know, but I'll definitely be bringing those types of difficulties to the channel, because I want to see how far we can get when the difficulties do come. So now there are new countermeasures in Countdown. We have skill suppression. Once the enemy is dead, an EMP will be deployed. Disruption effect that can affect agents and their skills in 15-meter radius. Deactivation benefit: enemies no longer deploy an EMP after they die. Players reduce a 25% preliminary skill cooldown if they kill an enemy within a 15-meter radius. We have explosive resistance. Enemies gain 100% explosive resistance. Deactivation benefit: enemies no longer have an extra explosive resistance. Agents gain 25% explosive damage. Reload speed: agents total speed reload weapon decreased to 75%. Deactivation benefit: agents no longer have total speed weapon reload decreased to 75%. Agents gain about 25% speed weapon reload. Wow. Armor protection: enemies receive about 25% of incoming armor repairs. Deactivation benefits: enemies no longer get extra armor repairs. Agents gain 25% for incoming armor repairs. Hostile skill damage resistance: enemies gain 50% skill damage resistance. Deactivation benefits: enemies no longer have extra skill damage resistance. Enemy skill damage resistance is reduced by 25%. Agents hazard resistance: agents hazard resistance is reduced by 25%. Deactivation benefit: agents hazard resistance is no longer reduced by 25%. Enemies hazard resistance is reduced by 25%, so it's just offsetted. Headshot resistance: enemies headshot resistance is increased by 25%. Deactivation benefit, enemies headshot resistance is no longer increased. Agents gain 25% headshot damage. That's nice. Critical resistance, enemies reduce incoming critical chance by 25%. Deactivation benefit, enemies no longer reduce incoming critical chance by 25%. Agents gain 25% critical chance. Remember, critical chance does cap out at 60%, so I'm wondering if either if you don't have the cap or if it's going to exceed the cap. That should be interesting to see. I have a feeling there might be something wrong with that, just because if you're adding critical chance and you're already maxed out at the 60% cap, that could go to a possible of 85%, and that could be kind of detrimental to the game mode if they wanted to play it that way. But if it's just going to cap out at 60%, that's kind of a null countermeasure anyways. Again, value is subject to change, so we should just see how well these all play out. Other changes: to prevent the players from being kicked out of the group by the group leader before entering the extraction, the feature is now disabled. That should help a lot of players, especially if you do call the helicopter too soon, the helo. I know that a lot of people have run into that issue where they get kicked because they call the helo too soon. It's whatever. It's a game. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the ride with the other players. Just have fun doing it. You don't need to be a total douche and kick people out just because they did something you didn't want them to do. Absolutely stupid. All right, so season 10, we're bringing in some new gear, so this should be very interesting. The Arquebuz Brazos gear brand sets. 1 piece equipped gives you 10% skill haste, 2 piece equipped gives you 1 tech level, and then 3 piece equipped gives you 20% ammo capacity. So I could already tell you that it's going to be pretty much a hybrid weapon damage skill build. That should be actually very interesting to use. I'm already going through the different brand sets, the gear sets in my head, just to see what it is that you can kind of develop. And I can already tell you that you can get away with doing a lot more weapon damage than skill, but also being able to proc your skills as well by using like technician for that added 1 tech level. If you do this, it's 2 piece that gives you 1 tech level, and then there should be a couple more pieces of gear that you should be able to use for your to gain skill levels as well. So that should be very interesting to see. I'm actually pretty excited to use that. Next, we've got Umbra Initiative gear set. 2 piece equipped gives you 50% critical chance. That's a nice buff. 3 piece equipped give a 30% reload speed. 4 pieces equipped give access to 2 unique talents based on player positioning from the shadows and into the light. From the shadows, while in cover, gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. Each stack will give you 1% critical damage increase and 0.5% RPM. Buff does not apply while shooting from cover. While out of cover, you lose 4 stacks per second at normal speed and 2 stacks per second if running. While out of cover, you lose 4 stacks per second at normal speed and 2 stacks per second if running. Okay, so you want to start sprinting, because that will benefit you more in your overall stack progression or stack loss. Into the light, while out of cover and in combat, gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. Each stack will give you 0.5% armor regen when it is consumed. Stacks consume 10 stacks per second only in cover. Let me read that again. While out of cover and in combat, gain 10 stacks per second up to 50. Each stack will give you 0.5% armor regen, so if it's 10 stacks per second up to 50 stacks, someone needs to do quick math to figure that out for armor regen. When it is consumed, stacks consume 10 stacks per second only in cover. Okay, so when you're in cover, that is when you're going to lose your stacks, so you're going to benefit more while you're out of cover and in combat. Okay, chest and backpack bonuses. The chest, increase stack from 50 to 100 and gain 20 stacks per second from shadows. Backpack, increase stack from 50 to 100 and gain 20 stacks per second for into the light. It consumes 20 stacks per second while in cover. Interesting. That's an interesting gear set. I'm very intrigued by how this should play out. I like the from the shadows and into the light. Those are very, very unique statements. I like that. That's very cool. Okay. New weapons and talents. We have 3 new exotic weapons. We got Dr. Home, exotic variation of the M1A should be CQB rifle. Talent, Dr. Home. Shooting an enemy with Dr. Home applies a mark. When killed, target drops a 50% armor repair kit. The kit doesn't give bonus armor. Only the weapon owner can see the armor repair kit. Once the player picks the armor kit, all party members receive the heal. Okay, that's interesting. Kit doesn't give bonus armor. Okay, so it just repairs your armor, so there is no bonus armor applied. But it should be interesting nonetheless. Bloody Knuckles, exotic gloves. Or throwing a grenade or striking an enemy with a melee attack activates the Seeing Red buff. Seeing Red grants 25% weapon damage and 100% melee damage. Seeing Red lasts 20 seconds and it has a 60-second cooldown. While in cooldown, striking an enemy with a melee attack or hitting an enemy with the effect of a grenade will complete the cooldown instantly. Interesting. Don't know why they're trying to make melee a thing. I know melee is kind of like a... You need to really ask yourself when you're going to use melees, but there are a few pieces of gear like the claws out from the wyvern wear that you can use for, I think it's like 200, it's either 200 or 500% melee damage. So if you add that on top of this, that should be you should be doing a lot of melee damage as well. Busy Little Bee, exotic pistol inspired by lightning rod. Each shot to a different target increases weapon damage if player keeps shooting a different target at different targets. Each shot increases 10% to a maximum of 200%. Players have 5 seconds to shoot between each target until they lose the stacks and must do it again. When the time is over or the player shoots the same target, they will gain an extra 5% damage for each stack they were able to get on the next shot. The stacks will remain even if the user changes weapons. Each shot to a different target increases weapon damage if player keeps shooting at different targets. Each shot increases 10% to a maximum of 200% weapon damage. Players have 5 seconds to shoot between each target until they lose the stacks and must do it again. When the time is over or the player shoots the same target, they will gain an extra 5% damage for each stack they were able to get on the next shot. The stacks will remain even if the user changes weapons. Okay, so it gives you a. It's very generous in giving you that weapon damage buff. That's what I'm taking from the talent. So that should be kind of on like up there with using something like the Regulus, just because of the amount of weapon damage you can get from it. But I don't know. We'll have to play around with it when it does drop this Friday. Named weapons: Lefty, ACS 12 shotgun. Talent: Perfect Sledgehammer. Dealing damage with a grenade applies a mark on target. Targets with marks take 40% more damage to armor and negative 10% movement speed. And then it's also on the SOCOM M1A. Dealing damage with a grenade applies a mark on target. Targets with the marks take 40% more damage to armor and 10% movement speed. So I feel like season 10 is going to be a lot about using your melee and grenades, just because of how the talents and how the brand sets are kind of being revolved around that, and even the exotic weapons as well. We got our new talent, Sledgehammer, Perfect Sledgehammer. It looks like with Sledgehammer, dealing damage with a grenade applies a mark on target. Yes. Looks like it's 10% less with just regular Sledgehammer. 30% more damage to armor and have a negative 5% movement speed. Mark disappears after 10 seconds. Okay, so it looks like the mark is going to be disappearing after 10 seconds with regular Sledgehammer, but I'm not entirely sure with Perfect Sledgehammer if it's just going to stay. So that should be interesting. We have our Strongholds, we have Tidal Basin, added legendary difficulty. We have Manning National Zoo, added legendary difficulty. So quality of life changes, added server time in the main menu, added a quantity preview for material cache that allows to see what's inside before opening it, removed an interval of randomization for material cache to allow the maximum of each material to be obtained when opening the caches. Okay. Added an option to hide loot beams in the gameplay setting. Okay. Moved materials for Uzina and Heartbreaker gear sets to the correct category. Added 2 Season 9 exotics, Dread Addict and Blue Streak to Haven and Base of Operations display walls. Nice. Added an option to sell from stash at each vendor. Players can sell stuff too. Okay. Exotics can drop in the open world from random NPCs and activities. Please note that the drop chance percentage for PTS has been set up to be much higher than the actual value. Interesting. Nice. So now you'll be able to just farm exotics, which actually does help a lot because of the expertise level. So that's actually really good. That's a good try. That's a good change. I like that. Character. Added character customization, allowing players to change body type, skin tone, and face shape after starting character progression. That has been a huge requested feature amongst a lot of people, that character customization. So the fact that they actually are bringing it into Season 10 is a huge benefit to those players. So nice job. Materials and resources. Cap rates for 3 main resources, namely food, water, and components up to 500 units. Cap rates for all crafting, authorization materials, and DZ credits. For more information, see the table below. All right, so now we have the okay, so it looks like shade calibration is at 999, field recon is 999. It just looks like it's all maxed out at 9,000 at 999. Okay, cool. That is awesome. That is excellent to see. And that is the PTS. Those are the Season 10 PTS patch notes. So very interesting to see. I'm actually very excited to see what is going to be coming up with this PTS. I'm very excited for the new legendary difficulties in Tidal Basin and Manning National Zoo. Those should be some of the best legendary strongholds to actually run. Gives you more of a variety too. Should be very interesting. The new difficulties with Countdown, I'm very excited to see how those can be completed solo. The countermeasures, I could care less about the countermeasures or whatever. I just like playing Countdown in general. The new gear sounds very interesting, especially Umbra Initiative. So I'm going to be playing around with that a lot, especially with the critical chance and reload speed. I don't know about the exotic weapons though, and the exotic gloves. I feel like I'm not too keen on the exotic weapons or the exotic gloves. I just don't see a real benefit to using any of them. I think I might give the M1A CQB rifle a chance, because you could definitely, if you have high enough armor and you use a 50% armor repair kit without having to use your own armor, like, I don't know. I feel like they could do a lot more with that one though. But Busy Little Bee should be very interesting though with your pistol builds as well. But yeah, I mean, other than that, guys, those are the patch notes. Those are the patch notes for the PTS. Again, preload is on Thursday, August 18th at 1800 CEST, and then it will go live Friday, 19th of August, and then the exact timings are to follow. So if you're playing on PC, definitely you're going to want to hit it up on Thursday, download it, get it ready for Friday morning rollout. All right, guys, that is it. That is all I have for you. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think of the patch notes for the PTS for Season 10. Again, this is only Phase 1. Everything is subject to change. But yeah, should be very interesting. I really hope to hear from you guys soon, and I'll catch you guys around in the next video. Take care.